Hi, everybody. It's Chrissy with Wine, Wealth, and Tea podcast, and I am here. And it is now 2026, and I am just trying to get reacquainted with you all as I get these cameras right. I got my tea. As you can see the steam coming from my tea. I got a new type of tea right now. This is a mango tea. So I'm on these teas that I'm trying out. This is a mango one. And I got to get me a stand to put my tea and stuff on. Maybe right about there. But anyway, it's 2026 and I am here and I'm just getting myself together to start having conversations again. I've been doing those little skits, segments, not skits, but more or less segments. Let's see if we can get this lighting. No, that was better the other way. What you think? Ooh, no. I like that one. Okay, so got my lighting right. And I was doing segments every other week or sometimes once a week, however I was feeling, because I didn't want any pressure. And the segments were called My Therapist Said. And they were really good. And I got a lot of views and a lot of shares. So I appreciate that. And it was just getting me warmed up to come back to start doing full-blown podcasts for you guys. And let's see how this tastes. Okay. Pretty good. So yes, mango tea, and I added honey. So I'll let you know the brand of it after I try all the other flavors. There's a mango. There is a ginger. There's some other weird stuff over there. No, peppermint and something else. Something else. I was like, peach one. And I'll let you know how they all taste. Anyway, so it's 2026, and this is Wine, Wealth, and Tea podcast, and I'm your host, Chrissy, if you don't know. I've been doing this now for about 6 years. Crazy. Started during COVID, 2020. So here's 2026, and I am still here. I haven't been consistent, so it's very, very hard to grow a platform when you're not consistent. So I'm working on consistency for 2026. That really is something I'm working on, as well as being more authentic, being more myself, right? So 2025 sucked. So that's me being authentic, telling you like it is. 2025 sucked for me. I decided that I wanted to fall in love and try to date. And that was a disappointment, like serious disappointment. I decided to revisit a relationship from the past. And the reason why they're in the past is because they didn't work. And I should have followed my own motto, keep moving forward. Instead, I reversed. I reversed, parked, and then speeded off alone. But, it is what it is. We all are human. We all are allowed to love, fall out of love, be hurt, heal, learn, grow, keep moving forward. We're just all allowed to do that. So let's be clear. I make mistakes. I have my share of them. That is a part of adulthood. And I learned a lot from it. We thought that, we had this grand idea. We were going to smooth everything over from our past and, show everybody we could do it. And, we loved each other and we didn't care what anybody else thought and blah, 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 blah. But little did we know, it really wasn't about everybody else. It was about us. And I think this was the closing chapter for us because we learned a lot about who we are as adults and what we both want and what we both won't tolerate. And I had my limits and he had his, and that's the end of the story. So here I am, single and happy about it. I'm not like, when I say that, some people get like, oh my goodness, single. I'm like, child, I'm single. I'm about to go out here and travel and go across the country. I'm throwing parties and all types of stuff. Please, single life to me, that's like challenge. You challenging me now. You let me be single? Oh boy. Now I got to show you who I am when I'm single. And that doesn't mean go out here and be Lucy Lou. That's not who I am. What I mean by challenging me and being single, that does nothing but make my creativity juices flow. Allow me to be more of everything that I already am. So it opened up other doors for me. So now I'm sitting here writing books and I'm creating new stuff on my merch website, which is now called www.merch.com. Go visit. You'll be able to find great coffee cups and more, sweatshirts, all types of things. Stickers are coming. just anything you can think of that's fun, that fits the platform that we're on now. It allows me to experience motherhood at a different level. Because when you're in relationships, you kind of focus on that relationship, and how to get it on board. And you still are a parent, but you're focused on that relationship. Now that it's over, it's like me and my kid are having so much fun. We went out to brunch today. So I took her on her first adult-like brunch. She's 16. So I was like, you always asking me, Mom, why can't I go with you when you go to brunch with your friends? And I'm like, because it's adults. And I don't take children to adult things. And so now she's 16, and I'm like, how about you go to brunch with your mom today? She's like, okay. I was like, but you can't wear sweatpants. You can't wear a hoodie. She's like, I can't wear a hoodie. I'm like, no, you cannot wear a hoodie, girl. Not with me. So I made her, rise to the occasion and to experience what it's like being a fun adult on her own, young adult. And, I showed her what she can afford to do and still be in a luxurious space. So I let her see what her bill was. I even told her she had to pay her own bill. Yes, I made her pay her own bill. And it wasn't much. It was $30. She's 16. She got $30. And she was like, this is the type of places you go to. I'm like, yeah. She was like, this is like places for famous people. It made me feel famous. And I was like, there is no spaces for set people. See, and that's what I wanted to get her mind out of, boxing herself in. And my family raised me never to box myself in. That I can go in any space that I choose to go in, no matter who else is there, who else isn't there, what the cost is. I go because that's what I want to do. So I wanted to show her that. And so at first she was a little uncomfortable and a little shy, but after a while she, lightened up and we started having conversation. And I said, this is what it is when you go out with your girlfriends. You go and you have brunch and you have conversations and you enjoy beautiful atmospheres and you look pretty. That makes you feel good. And I said, sometimes mom goes by herself. Sometimes I go alone. And it's because sometimes I need space by myself. And I said, I want you to learn to also be by yourself so that you're in a safe space alone and you're not lonely. Because there's a difference. And I'm going to speak about that. Let me get some more of this tea. There's a huge difference in being alone and lonely. And me and my family, we talked about that recently, where we were like, I said to them in a group text, I'm never lonely. And I think it's because we have such a close family knit that I never feel lonely, no matter how many failed relationships that I've had, because I've had them. That's why I'm not married, because I've had failed relationships. That's obvious. But I've never felt alone after the relationships have ended. You know what I mean? Like, I've always felt like, it's over. I think the only relationship I was devastated over was my first love. Oh my God. I was devastated. The world ended. The only song that got me up and out of the house was Jill Scott, I Gotta Get Up. I had that on constant repeat because I was such in a place of disbelief that that love of my life had ended, But that was the only time I felt like that. After that, it's been maybe 24 hours, and then I'm like, what am I crying over? Like, who am I crying over? And what have I done with me, So I've never really allowed myself the space to grieve a relationship when it's over. When it's over, it's over. And that's hard for a lot of people. But I always look at that just means it's something better for me in another space, whether it's another person, another creativity moment. It's just something else waiting for me somewhere else. So I think the keep moving forward motto has always been right where it's tattooed, but in here, it's in me. It's always been my mindset. So yeah, when it was over, it was over. It was like, I cried, I was upset, I probably crashed out. No, I'm not gonna say I did, I crashed out, gave him a piece of my mind via text message, because men get into their space where they don't want to have the conversation when things go left. So now you're texting looking like you're crazy, because they don't want to be adult and have the conversation. So I crashed out and I gave a piece of my mind of what I felt and what I thought of that particular person I was dating. And I was like, now it's over. Thanks. Thanks for nothing. It's over. It was disappointing, but it's life. And now here we are in 2026, and it has blossomed into so many beautiful things that are coming for me. And I feel like this is my year, and I hope this is your year too. I hope that you enjoy these conversations. So let me tell you where I want to take this podcast. I want to start like really, really bringing people's thoughts into this podcast. Like I want you to email us and tell us what it is you want me to talk about, or what kind of guests you want me to have. And we're not just going to just be focused on set things. I'm not like a political person, although I see what's going on in politics, because my mind was blown yesterday by all of the nonsense. It was like I woke up to crap. Like, how many of you woke up and was like, what the hell, dude? Like, can't we just get a week of peace? We just started the year, you know? So, but again, I'm not a creator, content creator. I just don't. It's not who I am. But I will say this is some bull crap. Although that country needed to be released from dictatorship, the way things are going about and some of the language that has been used, I don't quite agree with. And that's just my opinion. But the way I want to take this podcast is where we talk about anything that you feel, finances, I want to talk more about what it looks like to pay yourself, and can it be possible for early retirements for people, where 401ks are something that not many people are investing in right now because they don't see a need to, and we don't know if Social Security is going to be around. So what are our options? What is it like to travel abroad? How does that feel? How does that financially fit into people's normal lifestyles? What is it like to be a single parent, to multiple children or to one? And what is it like going through therapy, which everybody knows that's my biggest thing. Like, therapy is a must in my circle, because everybody needs a little bit of help. So, that I want to talk about what it's like to reconnect and make relationships work, because there are some relationships that do work. They struggle, but they work. I want to talk about that. I want to talk about what it's like getting over certain addictions. Different things that affect everybody is what this podcast is really based on. I am not a person that is talking about what's going on with the artists that are out there. They live their lives and they need help just like everybody else needs help. And they have enough people covering them. Although it might bring you views and, all of that, that's just not my space. I don't know enough about their personal lives. I got my life could be a daggone social media content the way it is. So, that's just not my thing. My thing really, like I said, is talking about everyday things that happen to all of us. What is it like losing a loved one? How's that process? How is it from moving from state to state? I moved all over the place all my life. So I know what it feels like to uproot and restart things. This is the first time I stayed in one state this long. I've been here in the state of North Carolina now for, my daughter's 16, about 18 years now. Yeah, been about 18 years. So just getting better as it sits. So, what it feels like to maneuver around. I want to talk about also what it looks like to create business and for it to fail and for you to pivot, because I have been the pivot queen over the last 5 years, where for me, business goes up, it goes down. It's just a seesaw. And sometimes people will see somebody that's successful and be like, they came out of nowhere, not realizing that they didn't come out of nowhere. They took time and really, really had to work. So when I say that I've been doing this for 6 years, I might have been doing this for 6 years coming in March, but I haven't been consistent. So I'm hoping to now bring more consistency to what it is I'm trying to do and grow, because with that will open up a whole nother avenue for me. So that's where I'm at this year, 2026, staying consistent and giving you the content that I say I'm going to give you. Is it going to be guests? It's always available to people to come on and have conversations with us. I like that. I like to be able to go back and forth, to have the conversations worth having with somebody else, for them to give their opinions, for us to agree and disagree. So I hope to have guests, but the show will not run off of just having guests because people have lives and they're not committed to certain things unless it is a lot of money and power behind it, and we're not there yet. So those that come on, they come on out of the goodness of their heart, and they want to help grow the channel. So we'll have some guests, but it won't be based around just guests. Will we? There was some other questions that I had. It was so funny. I was talking to my cousin, who is one of my creative directors for the website and everything. And she's like, you're always on a whim of just inviting people on. Yeah, I will do that. I will do that. And she's like, I got to stay ready because what happens is if you're a friend of mine and you're in my circle and we're having a good conversation, I might just say, hey, stop for a second, come on camera, let's record it because it's getting so good and people need to hear this. So I hope that the people that are in my circle are ready for that and are willing, because so often I have great conversations off screen and I want to bring them to screen because so many people are experiencing the exact things that we're talking about. I want to be more, I already said authentic. So, transparent, authentic, same thing. Just be more myself because I've been told that I'm actually pretty funny if I let people see it. So I'm going to try to be a little bit more myself and not so stuffy, as people say, a little stuffy. Okay, fine. I'll loosen up a little bit. I'll be a little ratchet every once in a while. So, bring that to light. Just focus on, I'm going to be doing some book writing. So I have a book that I've been working on for the last 4 months. I took a break from it this last month because I did do a big Sweet 16, and that took a lot of my time, attention, and money. So now I'm going to get back to that. I have an editor, and she actually spoke to me the other day, and she's like, you need to finish this book. You do know that. And I was like, I know. She said, I reread it, and I just couldn't believe this is where you're going. And I was like, really? She's like, this is amazing. You have to finish it. So I have to finish it. My goal is to finish it this year. Hopefully by end of spring, I will give you the title. I know what the title is, but I want to make sure it stays that way because as you're creating and you're growing, sometimes things change. So I don't want to put the title out there and then I'm stuck with it and then the way of the book starts to change. It's not fictional. It's not, anything, not one of those. I'm not a fictional love writer, romance writer. That's not who I am. I am a descriptive writer, is what I've been told. I'm very descriptive. So that is what I'm going to be doing. And it's a passion project. It's something I never thought I would do, but it feels good to get it down on paper. So I hope people will enjoy it. I'm going to be taking a class on podcasting so that I can make this even better. So you'll be seeing me do podcasts from different spaces every now and then. So just don't get used to one set space because it's going to be different every time. Or at least a few times, but it's going to be different. So don't get used to seeing one background or one look. It's going to change. I'm going to start doing something where I even go out and speak to people and ask them what they think and, on certain subjects. I might walk up to people and go, hey, okay, so what do you think about song of the month right now? Or what do you think about politics? I'll ask questions like that just to get people's mind going. What do you think about relationships? Or how long have you been in one? Just to get some more just insight on people and where their mindset is and gauge the temperature. Also want to look into creating a magazine. You'll see that tab on the website on the chrissydoles.com/KMF, which stands for Keep Moving Forward. That is the new landing page for everything Chrissy. So all things Chrissy. So the reason why I did that, let me explain that to people. We were having such a disconnect in the last couple of years because I was creating so many things at once. And I think it was confusing the consumers and the people that follow me and that like me. And I sat down and I really, really started watching other people and researching ways to get this done the right way. And the first thing I needed was one place that housed everything about me. because I'm not just one part. I'm not just the wine girl. I'm not just the girl that sells coffee cups. I'm not just the girl that does reels when I go out and dress up and go to dinner and everything. I'm a little bit of everything. Um, so I wanted a space where I can create that, where you can go to that landing page, chrissydoles.com/KMF, and you can literally click on any icon and find out something about what I do and what I offer to you, the consumer, the client, the follower, the friend, the family, all of the above, the community. So go to that website, sign up so that you can know what else I'm up to, or if I'm going to be someplace speaking, because I still do that as well, if you ask, and just continue to help me grow the community. So that was something that we changed about this whole direction of the podcast. And I explained to people, while I love wine, and I will always love wine, that is still my number one thing. I started with this podcast. And that's where I need to stay, because that has been my safe space. That has been my place where I connect with people. So that's what I needed to go back to. Because you can't expect, and I'm going to say this from a business standpoint, you can't expect to grow a business. And I'm going to bring this camera in a little bit closer while I say this. You can't expect to grow a business for people to buy a product and they don't know you. It's not going to happen. Why would I buy it? I don't know you. I don't know what that product is. I don't know why I'm buying that product. So you have to give people the chance to get to know who you are, to see if they like your personality, your character, your brand, or whatever it is that you're selling, to move them to your products that you offer. Because if they like you enough, they'll buy your products, right? No matter what the product is, they'll buy your products. So that's what I wanted to go back to podcasting to do, to really reintroduce myself, which I had started in the beginning of 2025 in the spring, and I fell off because I fell in love. At least that's what I thought it was. But I got off focus. But I'm back on focus now, and now I know what it takes, and it takes consistency and follow through and marketing and money. So these are the things I'm going to be focusing on more to build this page. And I thank you all that have followed me along the way, that have always given me positive words of encouragement to keep going, and that enjoyed the podcast and the things that I offer. And yeah, so that's where I'm at. And this season, this year, I don't want to cut things into seasons, because it's not a season for me. It's just my day to day. So I can't even say, oh, we're in our sixth season. We're in my day. This is just my day. And it can change at any given time, because that's what creatives do. We often need people that keep us on track as our minds are creating, that can help us stay organized. While I have a certain type of OCD, certain things I just can't do unless I visually see it. So for me, I can get off track because I'm focusing on something else. But I notice that now. So I'll tell somebody, okay, we got to sit this to the side while I complete this project. Let me do one thing at a time, because if I try to do too many things at a time, it'll explode. So that's why I kept saying, I'm coming back to podcast in 2026, because it was my daughter's 16th. I could not focus on podcasting and her. No, it was all about her. So now that's all over, and we're in 2026, and I am just ready to take things up a notch. And like I said, I want to bring more conversations that are about us as people, and what it is that we're looking for in life, and how do we get there together. I mean, even talk about religion and where we see it now. I noticed, I think I saw an article where it's changing. A lot of people are falling away from their religious beliefs. So that's something to talk about as well. Like, where are you? What do you feel? And where's your journey? And, things like that. So again, I welcome you back to the Wine, Wealth, and Tea podcast. I hope we had some fun. I hope we have some good conversations. I hope we bring up topics that are still a little I can't believe she's talking about that, but ooh, I'm glad she's talking about that. I want to talk about a woman in her 40s. I'm 43, and I haven't yet gone through menopause or perimenopause, but I know a lot of women that are going through it or have gone through it. And that's something that is really, really a hot topic right now. I have moments that I think I'm going through it, but it's not yet all the way here. So I do want to talk more on that because it's like taboo. I don't know, like can't go through it or something. I don't get it. I remember that was one of the arguments in my last relationship. You let me know. Are you going through menopause? You let me know when it's over. Over. Why is it when women get upset we got to be going through menopause? Or we're sick or something? Why can't we just be upset because you did something ridiculous? Like seriously. So stuff like that. What is it being 43 and having a teenager, and single? And like I said before, I'm not alone. I'm not lonely. I am alone, but I'm not lonely. Let me take that and rephrase it. So I like being alone. I really do. It helps me create. It helps me change everything about myself. Lonely, I don't think I ever be there. Too many family and friends to ever get in a space where I'm lonely. There's always somebody to talk to. Not only that, that's what I pay my therapist for. So, yeah, not lonely. Alone, but not lonely. But I like it. I do, because I get to do what I want to do. So, again, this is my podcast. I am back. I am going to have fun with this, and I hope you are in for it all. Because whether I succeed or fail, I'm going to continue to do what makes me feel happy. And you should do the same thing too in life. Make 2026 the year that you complete everything it is you set out to do, whether you succeed at it or not. Even failure is success. Remember that. Failure is success. People, have in their mindset, I failed, I can't believe this is horrible. To fail means that you at least tried. And that's success, because a lot of people don't even try. So remember that, okay? I hope to talk to you guys soon. We're going to be changing a lot of things. Remember to visit the website, the landing page, and it'll take you to everything else. Remember to subscribe. Send me some details and things you want us to talk about this season, this year, this day by day, because I don't like calling it seasons. And, yeah, wine, wealth, and tea. I'm out. Bye.
Wine on the table, tea